Hello everyone, welcome back to Sound of Manchester. Today we are going to preview the match against Chelsea in the FA Cup semi-final at Wembley. And a bit of a surprise for you, which we mentioned in the previous episode, is that we have two Chelsea fans joining us today. So this is your host Prathamesh along with Anurag from Sound of Manchester, and we have two Chelsea fans, Akshay and Amay. Welcome guys, it's a pleasure to have you, and the United Chelsea rivalry along
Welcome, bros.
for so many years has been a privilege to watch, from the likes of Jose versus Sir Alex to the very recent turn of events between Ole and Lampard. This has really been a fantastic rivalry and a match always worth watching. So I think it was two really difficult matches for both the teams last time out in the Premier League, with Manchester United just edging out over Crystal Palace by a 2-0 scoreline at Selhurst Park, whereas Chelsea won 1-0 against Norwich at Stamford Bridge. Olivier Giroud scored the goal for Chelsea, whereas for United, Rashford and Martial were on the score sheet. And coming to you first, Akshay and Amey, you guys saw a good Chelsea win. You guys are a point ahead of us in the Premier League, though. And how do you see that performance affecting this FA Cup game now?
First of all, I would
Yeah,
like to thank Sound of Manchester for inviting me. And I think Chelsea versus Norwich was a difficult game for Chelsea. Chelsea looked dominant in possession, but that has been the case for the whole season. But we needed some creativity up front, and I think that Olivier Giroud provides some other options than Tammy Abraham. So he's been really useful since the restart. So that was an important thing for us, important victory for us. Now it's important for United as well as Chelsea to win their every game. So this FA Cup, I think it's a tricky fixture for both the teams, because now I think both the teams will look to rest players. It's very funny thing that the both of the teams will look to rest players in a FA Cup semi-final, which is a important thing. But still, they have their priorities towards qualifying in the Champions League. So that's a important factor to consider.
Yeah, Amey, what do you think? How was the Norwich game for you?
yeah. So I think it was a pretty average for Chelsea performance, like just 1-0 against a relegated Norwich, which was it was kind of disappointing, and we got goal right at the end of the first half. And after that, when we should have showed some intent and kicked on, and probably scored 2-3 more to like show some intent, I think that was missing. And Lampard quite rightly in his post-match conference also mentioned this. So we clearly lacked creativity and like the intent which I'm talking about, that was missing. So yeah, so I hope that the FA Cup will be a good sign to like show some intent against a top team like Manchester United.
Yeah, indeed. I think it has been difficult recently to play teams who have been in that relegation zone or in the mid-table, because they do provide a strong defensive performance. They play on a low block, and we saw that yesterday when Manchester United played Crystal Palace, which United eventually edged out 2-0, but it could have very easily gone the other way had that goal stood. And Anurag, there were a lot of uh, nervy moments in the match. Our heart was always racing until Martial scored the second goal. So, I mean, how do you think that is now going to take into consideration now that we have to play Chelsea in less than 48 hours now?
Uh, Hello to all our viewers and welcome to Akshay and Amey. Thank you so much for joining us. So, I actually, me and Akshay, we've been talking a bit about Chelsea on our Instagram handles. So, I remember him posting, "This club gives me a heart attack every day." And we kind of felt that yesterday. United were kind of breezing past everyone quite easily since the lockdown, but yesterday was one heck of and even the game against Southampton, it was very very nervy because we were not at our best, and that's what make up for great teams. I think this is I've always said. uh, Great teams always find a way to win, even though when they're not playing well. And I think you could see Chelsea's vibe getting changed ever since they announced their signing. Although they haven't joined, they know there is that, it always brings that positivity. And although, yeah, Chelsea didn't play well, but they did get that one moment of brilliance, which eventually got them the 3 points. And if you look at what the problem with Chelsea right now, United faced the same problem before Bruno signed it. I think the lack of creativity. When you have all the possession, people are just passing here and there to the left, to the right. There is no one trying to put that aerial ball in, like what Fabinho does at Liverpool, or what Bruno is trying to do, or Pogba is trying to do at United. So I think that is a cutting edge which Chelsea lack, which could really play into our favor. I hope so, which could really play into our favor in this game. But looking at Bruno yesterday, I think I have a feeling he could be rested, because he looked a bit tired. And full marks to the guy. He gave his best. He was running around with full intent. And I remember in the 85th minute, I think just before we got a second goal, he made a brilliant searing run, and the chance where he hit the crossbar. So
Yeah.
I have a feeling he could be rested, and I'd be really very, very interested to see how United will come and approach if Bruno is rested in that scenario. I have a feeling one among Bruno or Pogba will definitely be rested. Fred or Scott McTominay could start, and since Matic got that rest, so I think Matic could be playing. So yeah, yes, it was a tough game against. It was a tough game at the Selhurst Park. Crystal Palace has always proven to be a tough venue, and this final few weeks. It's always tough to play the relegation sides, because they have a bigger motivation than what our clubs have. Ours is we are aiming for something higher than what we have. They are literally fighting for survival. So obviously their hunger is a little more than what our clubs have right now.
Yeah.
So it always gets a little tricky. But I think this game will be very, very interesting. I'm really looking forward to this. I hope Ole Gunnar Solskjaer maintains his good record.
Yeah, Ole does have a really good record against Chelsea, but Chelsea in the FA Cup this season have been really good. They have beaten Liverpool as well. They beat Leicester last time out in the quarterfinal. Those were two really good performances by Chelsea side, and they've been doing well in the cup. They beat us in the FA Cup final a couple of seasons ago as well. So that is still fresh in most Manchester United fans' memories. And Akshay, how do you think now that this FA Cup run has been for you? And what are the positives that you can take from that run and into the semi-final?
The two major players for us in FA Cup run have been Barkley and Willian. They have been performing really well. I mean, Barkley has been performing really well since the restart as well. He's one of the important players for us. Although some of our fans may not acknowledge that, but Barkley has been one of our creative midfielders, and he's been the one who creates a lot of chances. Sometimes. I mean, they're not a lot of options in the midfield right now because Kante is injured. Mateo Kovacic has just returned from his injury. Jorginho hasn't played a lot of games. So I don't know how we are going to line up in the midfield. Like we have game against Liverpool, which is a cup final in itself. Like we have to win that game. Like for even for Manchester United, the Premier League games are a lot more important, I feel. That's my opinion.
Obviously, yep.
I mean, FA Cup semi-final is there to be like FA Cup is important, but you have to qualify for the biggest tournaments. Champions League is the biggest tournament, and big clubs want to play those tournaments, and big teams attract big players by playing these tournaments. So it's going to be tricky and important how both of these managers are going to approach the FA Cup semi-final. I think most of the players will be rested, the important ones, by both the managers. But I can't be sure of the lineups, how both of these managers are going to line up. So let's see how that works out.
Yeah, and Akshay, you did mention Jorginho, and
Yeah,
Jorginho was signed by the Mauricio Sarri with a lot of hope. He's a creative midfielder. He's someone who has done
yeah,
really well in Italy. But Ame, we have seen in the recent past that Jorginho has been a little bit of defensive liability, wherein he has made quite a few mistakes, especially in the Sheffield game. I think we saw him making a few mistakes
yeah.
that those led to goals. Do you expect Jorginho to start? And if he does start, how do you think uh, Lampard will actually cope with the threat of either Pogba or Bruno playing on the pitch?
So I am sure I think Jorginho will start because I like heard Lampard's press conference and Kante isn't fit for this match. So I think Jorginho will start. But the thing with Jorginho is that you need a partner midfielder with him who's quite technical as well. So I think Jorginho and Kovacic, when they play together, it's quite a good combination because earlier in our season when we were like playing really well against weaker opponents like Burnley, where Pulisic scored a hat trick, and against other teams, Norwich as well, and Wolves as well. Jorginho and Kovacic both were combining really well with the midfield, with Mount, with Willian, with Tammy Abraham. So I think that he just needs his confidence back, and once he gets it back, I think that partnership can work really well. Because when we were struggling against Palace as well, when Palace were attacking, Jorginho came on and he somehow settled things down really well. So yeah, he's a defensive liability, but I think the defense also has to step up. And one more thing which might surprise people is that we have not conceded a goal in the FA Cup yet. So we won 2-0 against Notts County, we won 1-0 against Leicester, and we won 2-0 against Liverpool. So surprisingly, we haven't conceded yet in the FA Cup. I hope that run continues against United as well. It'll be difficult, obviously, because we are looking like really bad from corners and all kinds of set pieces. And United have one of the
I
best
think we
set piece
we have
takers.
conceded against Hull. We have conceded one against Hull. It was 2-1.
We did concede a goal. I think because we didn't concede in the last 3 games at least. So
Uh,
against top teams. So I think that hope if we can carry on through this game, then it would be a good sign. So let's see. I'm positive about this game, and I think he might rest players as well, Lampard, and we might see because Mount and Barkley both didn't play against Norwich. So I think they might start, and who will start with them is a mystery. It can be Kovacic because Kovacic can play as a number 6, but it'll be interesting to see because the midfield of Barkley, Mount, and Jorginho didn't work against Sheffield when they were pressing high. So it'll be really interesting to see how we start.
Yeah, it will be because it can be either Jorginho, it can be Kovacic, or it can be any other academy product that we don't know that Lampard might pull out. Either anything is possible, but as you said, as you both rightly said, that the Premier League is slightly more important for both the sides right now. And talking about Manchester United's FA Cup run, we smashed Tranmere. We got past Wolves in a replay, and Norwich was into extra time where Harry Maguire scored the winner. And I think the FA Cup run has been decent for United. Obviously, Chelsea being the biggest test so far, and directly into the semi-final. Anurag, you did mention the fact that we might see the likes of Fred, Scott McTominay, maybe even the likes of Daniel James and Ode Nigalo in the team. So, do you expect that this will slightly disrupt the balance of the team, which we did see against Norwich? So, how do you expect that to pan out?
I mean, even if it disrupts, I think that is what we need in the bigger picture. As I think even we've been talking in some of our Manchester United fan groups that Premier League, Europa League, then FA Cup, that is a priority right now because
Yeah.
Premier League and Europa League some can help us get into the Champions League. Uh, FA Cup cannot help. I mean, as big as the tournament is, as historic as the tournament is, as important as it is, right now it is kind of down in the priority list. And the reason why we keep mentioning it so many times is it could really hamper both the sides' form. I mean, yeah. Uh, but one thing we have to take into consideration is since the lockdown, we've been playing a game every 3 days, and it is not easy for any of the teams. And I think I haven't seen the Norwich game against Norwich Chelsea game very well. I was just following bits and pieces. But I could definitely say about the United Crystal Palace game, United players were very tired. Mason Greenwood
Yeah.
looked a little jaded. Uh, I think it is starting to play off now because United kept playing that same lineup for 4 or 5 consecutive games. So
Five.
I think that really had a bad impact on players. And you can't even blame Ole Gunnar Solskjaer because Premier League was the
Yeah.
priority. So he had to play the players. There was no other choice. It would have been lovely had the repercussions come out a little late, but it eventually came out. Players were tired yesterday. I won't say we're lucky, but I think we were really tested yesterday. Some of the decisions did go in our favor. The offside rule. Come on, I don't. I know some fans might disagree, but offside is offside. Even if it is by 1 inch or
Exactly.
500 inches, it is offside, man. So the technology did suggest by a very small margin it was offside. I know I might sound like a fan trying to defend whatever club is,
I
whatever
know
is
that.
happening to the club.
But
But
that doesn't need
offside is
defending.
offside.
It's offside. Yeah.
Yeah,
That
exactly.
doesn't.
Even in the post-match conference, what I don't know who it was. Uh, I think Michael Owen was trying to stress on Ian Wright. I think yeah, it was Ian Wright who
Ian Wright,
actually was
yeah.
stressing. He was stressing offside. The technical rule is a person should not gain advantage by being in front of him. Now, if anyone says Jordan Ayew was having any advantage with that 1 inch, I think we all can certainly take a laugh at that. But that is not the rule. Eventually, offside means a person being ahead of the defensive
Yeah.
line. He was ahead of the defensive line, even by a hair's breadth. That is offside. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
decisions
but
did
I
go in
think
our favor. We
Ian Wright has Crystal Palace loyalty, so you can slightly excuse him for that.
yeah,
It's okay.
Yeah.
he does, but I think even his point was absolutely valid.
Yeah,
It
it
was
was.
valid,
Yeah.
but eventually it is a numerical thing. It was 2 inches offside. It was offside. So we got coming back to the point, both have had very tough games, very tired players. So let's see how this goes on.
Yeah, and talking about United Chelsea games in the recent past, at least this season we have played Chelsea thrice and we have beaten them all the three times. Once at Old Trafford on the opening day of the Premier League. It was a shocking game, 4-0 victory. I don't think anybody
Yeah.
saw that
Actually,
coming at all. I don't think even United fans even thought that we would win the game to begin with. But it was a 4-0 victory. It was a really good performance. We were lucky in the first half, very lucky because Abraham and Emerson were
he hit
striking
the
some really
crossbar.
good.
Yeah,
Yeah, they were striking some really good balls. The one in the Carabao Cup was a 2-1 victory at Stamford Bridge. Rashford's free kick was absolutely out of this world. I still feel that is the goal of the season, hands down. I think Kevin De Bruyne's free kick at Stamford Bridge also was really good, but it wasn't as good as this one. And obviously, we played them in the Premier League as
Yeah.
well, where Harry Maguire scored a goal, his first Premier League goal for United, and three victories against Chelsea. And but that doesn't count at this point of time, does it? Because it's an entirely new match, and to add to that, the complexities of trying to change the lineups, trying to change the styles of play. Probably both teams will be playing with most likely the second string teams, and it might not pan out as expected. And then maybe the so-called superstar players might come in late in the second half to try and create an impact either way. So it really doesn't matter what happened previously, but just to let the Chelsea fan know, we have beaten them three times this season. So just be wary of it. And coming to that, we're going to get to the predictions now straight away. We're going to start with Ame. What are your predictions for the match?
I think it will be a tough game. Like all Chelsea United games are really tough and they are not as one-sided. I'm hoping it won't be as one-sided as they were in the first game of the season. But I think we can, if we defend well, if we defend our set pieces well, if we let United have the ball, I think we can hurt them on the counter because I think Pulisic and I think Hudson-Odoi will start. So I think those two can be a threat going forward. And yeah, so I think it will go to penalties. So I'm saying 1-1 and penalties, and then it's anybody's game. I think we have good enough penalty takers. So if luck is on our side, then I think Chelsea will go through on penalties.
That was interesting. Penalties. Nobody wants that, to be honest.
very diplomatic.
And yeah,
No,
nobody wants penalties because those are hit and miss. And playing 120 minutes again, no way.
yeah.
Akshay, do you want to play 120-minute card or do you
I
want to
think
finish it 90?
no. I want the game to be finished in 90 minutes. We have to play Liverpool on Wednesday. No. I feel I'm a bit confident about this one. I think we have advantage over United considering the fact that we have had 48 hours more to prepare for this game. I think that should be an advantage for us, and I think that will be an important part
Yeah.
of the game, how players react to it. And we have been recently battered by Sheffield United. I think Lampard wants something from his team. uh, I think we will win this one. I think I'm confident about this one. 2-1 for Chelsea.
Yeah, that's a valid point because 48 more hours for recovery, rest, and preparation will obviously
Yeah.
make a huge difference considering that teams have been playing back to back for a long time. Anurag, coming to you, a lot of changes will be expected, but we have a good track record recently, and we might play our Wembley specialist Jesse Lingard in the game. Who knows? So, what do you think can happen with the match?
I was actually planning to play the 120 minutes plus penalties card, but since Amay already said that, see, the thing is, I can make a fan prediction and say United will win because we've had a record, we've won against them 3 times and stuff like that. But I think going clearly by the current scenario, Chelsea have some rest, and there is a very clear indication that both teams will be bringing in some changes. So it is very, very difficult to predict. Actually, this is going to be a lot more unpredictable than what the United Chelsea games have been in recent times. It'll be interesting, but I hope it'll be a 2-1 victory in United's favor.
Yeah, I think
Plus, we have a
I
better goalkeeper in the goal. We'll have a better goalkeeper this time around.
Yeah, even we have a decent second choice keeper actually.
yeah,
Sergio
we have a
Romero.
decent one, Sergio Romero.
No,
Yeah, I think
our second choice keeper is better than our first choice keeper. That's what I
Yeah, actually, Willy Caballero is better than Kepa right now.
feel.
I think he'll start.
Okay.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah.
And Caballero has been
No debates
quite
on
a bit. He's been a good goalkeeper. He saved some.
Yeah,
I
he's
think he.
been a penalty specialist as well. He
Yeah.
saved a lot of penalties. So I think
So
he
Let's
will
not
start.
recollect what
Consi-
happened in the
consi-
FA Cup semi-final
yeah.
last time around.
So
FA Cup final.
considering
No, sorry,
that,
that is a capital
considering
one
that,
difference.
I am definitely considering that Caballero is playing. I'm definitely not even gonna think about penalties because then it's gonna be even Stevens with De Gea, Caballero. I feel both defenses
I think
will
Romero
have
is
an
going to
off
start.
day.
Romero.
Yeah, Romero. Sorry, yeah,
Yeah.
Romero might start. So I feel personally both defenses have been slightly shaky. Although United haven't conceded goals, but they have conceded a lot of chances. Chelsea, obviously, it's been quite visible that they've conceded goals.
Yeah.
So I'm going 3-2 either way. I'm not going to predict any one victory because I'm a moderator kind of here. Although I'm wearing a United jersey, I'm slightly moderating right now. But I'm going to go for a 3-2 victory, and that too maybe you might see 2 or 3 goals towards the end of the second half when the better players come into the pitch, because you might not see the superstar start right away, but for United, if Martial and Rashford start together, if that does happen, I think then I expect United to slightly score 3 or 4 goals more comfortably than it would be possible either way. So yeah, I think that is my prediction. I think it is going to be a tough game anyway because, as you said, the complexities of qualifying for the Champions League and what the rest period for both the sides. Obviously, Chelsea have been better in that respect, but and the lineups might change a lot. Tactics might also differ. So it's going to be a very important match on Sunday for all our viewers. The match is on Sunday at 10:30 p.m. You can watch it on Sony 10 in India. So yeah, I think it's going to be a cracking match in for the FA Cup semi-final. And thank you guys for joining because it was really fun. This is our first joint video with fans from the opposite team as well. Thank you, Akshay and Amay. It was really fun to have you guys. It was fun to
Thank
have
you
real.
for inviting us.
You're most welcome. Most welcome.
It was fun to have honest opinions because we also like a little bit of reality check because we sometimes ourselves tend to get a little bit too carried away with our team and we it happened in the match against Southampton, so that reality check was required. But yeah, I think we can hope for a fantastic game and a fantastic result for either one of the teams when they get through to the final. So thank you guys, thank you for tuning into Sound of Manchester. It was lovely, and let's wait for the FA Cup final semi-final result rather. Thank you.